Good morning and welcome to Opening Bell. I'm Stacy Pereira. I'm here to take you through the news and cues that could impact your trading day. Well, let's get started then. We did see the benchmark indices get off to a good start for the June series on a Friday, and it is likely that momentum will continue. Now, the Nifty is closed just shy of that 18,500 mark, and we also saw the Sensex surmounting that 62,500 peak. As for the Bank Nifty, that too closed about that 44,000 levels. And there could be potential further upward movement is what we're looking at. But let's look at the events that transpired over the weekend. Well, we did see US politicians, reach that tentative agreement when it comes to raising the debt ceiling. That they have raised it for another 2 years. So that's going to continue till 2025. And they've also decided to cut down on spends. Now, that was the crucial part that would take things forward. Now, the deal is now ready to move towards the Congress for a vote. In the days to come, we're going to see how the US Treasury really, they could run out of cash. June 5th was that deadline that they were trying to meet, June 1st, but they would have those extra days. But now that they've reached to this deal, it remains to be seen how the Congress, which is really divided, you could say, to the T, will take this forward. However, the US markets will be closed today for the Memorial Day holiday. But back home, we do have a couple of big earnings to be watching out for. We have IRCTC. We also have Adani Ports as well as Adani Transmission, El Cargo Logistics. All of them will be declaring their Q4 results through the day. And if we have to see the trade setup as a whole, well, we do have the foreign institutional investors. They have been the net buyers of equities in the last 3 months, you could say so. And so far, for the month of May, we've been seeing around equities have been bought to the tune of around 37,317 crore just in May alone. And the domestic institutional investors are no less. They're also throwing their weight behind Indian markets, you could say, continuing to be net buyers as a whole. But let's get going and discuss some more strategies and stocks that we are likely to see in spotlight today. Joining me is Prashant Sawant of Catalyst Wealth. Prashant, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. Now, given that strong momentum that we've been seeing and, that break that we've been seeing in the last 8 days, a consolidation, one would say, as a whole for the indices, is it likely to be marching towards that 18,700, 18,800 levels in the coming days? Where do you see the support and resistance?
Stacy, good morning and good morning to all the viewers. I think it has been a fantastic rally. After some consolidation post the Karnataka elections, the way we took off from Friday has been very strong. And if you look at Nifty now, to share the major levels, if you look at the June futures, we closed at somewhere around 18,575. I think looking at the gap up, we might be touching somewhere around 18,700, 710. So on the upside, I think 18,800 to 840 happens to be a big resistance. Now, one word of caution here. What happens is we emotionally try to hold for 19,000, which is just 100 points away once we reach 18,850. So the logical step would be to trail closely, and if there is a reversal, book profits and wait for some time. At the same time, looking at the strength in the indices and especially Bank Nifty, I would definitely say that it's a good time to look at opportunities in individual sectors and individual stocks. So some of the sectors like auto, they have been doing phenomenally well, as well as banks. So PSU banking may do really well. So you can keep an eye here. I think overall, the one interesting and most important stock which needs to be on your radar is Reliance, because I think there definitely has to be a catch-up rally with Nifty also trying to shy near the all-time high. So for that, Reliance will be a major contributor, and I think the HDFC twins as well. So an interesting week ahead for sure.
Right, Prashant, we'll get to each stock specific and, the strategies that one should be looking at. But let's look at the Bank Nifty. You spoke about it. We're seeing support levels at 43,700. So we did see it cross that 44,000 peak as well. So another potential uptrend. But what could be the factors that could play spoil sport, if I have to be the devil's advocate here? We have the upcoming June Fed meet as well. Could that really change the way things are moving for the banking sector back home, as also the Bank Nifty as an index?
So I think the very simple logic one needs to follow now is if Bank Nifty closes today above the all-time high. So say in futures, if we close somewhere around 44,400, 44,500, the very basic logic one needs to follow is keep your stop loss, which would now be a trailing stop loss slightly below 44,000. So say 43,950, 980 zone and hold. So as long as you're not risking anything, you're holding your position and just trailing. If there's a reversal, you'll book out. So before, and one thing which I always religiously follow is if there is any planned event in the market, it's always advisable to book your profit once, come out of the market and re-enter after the event. Overall, I think most of the investors and the traders, those who are holding on to their long positions, would be in decent profits. So always a good thing
Right.
to.
Prashant, there we have the market open, and like you were suggesting, it is opening in the green, going up there to that 18,608. That's the opening point, up almost half a percentage, more than half, 1/6 of a percent, you could say. But definitely a good start to the week, of course, and that's what we were expecting. And quite a few global cues to be taking that forward. We saw from the US, what came off that deal, that was something that the markets were anticipating, and it could take things in either way. Even the Sensex there at that 62,978, so that's almost 0.78% higher. The mid-cap broader indices also mirroring what the benchmarks have done there, that too up half a percentage point. You can see the mid-cap there half a percentage point, and the Nifty also moving upwards, you could say. So new levels being breached. You could say that we were at a 5-month high, or you could say 2023 highs. So looking at that moving upwards. Look at the blue chip stocks, those two looking clearly in the green. Reliance, that was one stock that you said to watch out for, and like our viewers can see, that too in the green. M&M, if you look at auto stocks, that too up there by 3%. So that is one stock that had come under pressure after its earnings, but now in the green. Infosys, for that matter, here again among the IT pack, but that one also in the green. HDFC Bank doing well. Now we do have to look at the banking pack, because we are getting a lot of news from that whole thing. There is news buzzing around ICICI Bank, so that one buying up stake in ICICI Lombard, which is its subsidiary. So that is something that we're going to be looking at. For that counter there on your screens also ticking much higher, both of them for that matter, ICICI Lombard as well as ICICI Bank. But let's look at sectoral indices and how they are performing. Well, we can see the Bank Nifty, of course, in that uptrend. Let's look at the auto pack, the Nifty auto, that too in the green. We did see M&M, one of the stocks, doing pretty well. How about metals? That is a counter that needs to be watched out for. So we are going to have to see how that one really takes it on. That is something we're going to be looking out for. How about the FMCG pack? That is also something that we need to be looking out for. Now let's look at the gainers for today as trade starts this week. The Nifty gainers. What do we have there? We have Adani Enterprise. That one's again ticking upwards. Infosys, Adani Ports. We are going to see them declare their Q4 results. So Adani Ports is something that we will be on our radar. Adani Transmission too is something that is a company that is going to be looking at its Q4 results. How about losers? Let's look at the counter for losers. We are seeing ONGC, Sun Pharma, as well as Divi's Lab. Now we are going to get into the specifics of why these counters are low. ONGC reported that one-time loss of almost 9,000 crores, and that is perhaps what is taking it lower. Power Grid, Cipla. Pharma pack as a whole is seeing a lot of consolidation, one would say, a lot of counters there that are on the radar. So let me go back to Prashant now and get his views on how he is looking at this. He did give us the technical view as to what levels we are supposed to be looking at. But Prashant, how are you looking at this Monday morning opening cues? Like you were pointing out, all those blue chips really in the green again. But what should our viewers really be looking at? What should traders be looking out for? What factors?
So, Stacy, I think a couple of stocks which have been on my radar are, one is Astral. I think it's a good positional buy from here for targets around 1840, 1860, and one can maintain a stop loss at 1735. Along with that, I see good strength in mid-cap Nifty. So Birla Soft, which is termed as, the code is BSOFT. You can look at the stop loss around 328 in pause, and it may move up to 355, 360. So I think a couple of stocks look good. Metals are picking up, but I would say wait for a day, let the move sustain. Tomorrow you can start looking at metals as well. For now, I think Astral and Birla Soft would be my two picks.
Right, so those are the picks coming from Prashant. But let's take a look at some of the stocks like we were discussing. Now, I told you there's a lot happening in that banking space, and we have ICICI Bank, which is among which today the board has gone ahead and approved increasing the stake in ICICI Lombard by about 4%. Now, this has happened over multiple tranches. Remember, ICICI Bank holds about 48.2% in ICICI Lombard. This is as of 31st March. And with this stake hike, ICICI Lombard will become a subsidiary of the bank. This will, of course, be subject to those necessary approvals. Now, another stock that we're talking about, the Pharma pack, like I was saying, is Lupin. Now, that is the stock that one should be watching out for among the pharma ones. That's because its Canadian subsidiary that is has received the approval from Health Canada, and this is to market a generic version of this Spiriva drug in Canada. Now, the drug is used for patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, and this includes chronic bronchitis as well as emphysema. Now, speaking of more in that pharma story, well, we do have Sun Pharma, and that counter definitely there in the red, as you can see, and this is because they have gone ahead and said that they've issued a letter to the board of Taro Pharmaceuticals, which is that Israeli company, with the proposal of a non-binding indication of interest to acquire the remaining shares in Taro through a reverse triangular merger. Now, to this transaction, it will take place in a cash transaction at a price of $38 per share, which, if I have to say, is a premium of about 31% of Taro's closing price as of May 25th. Now, following the completion of this proposal, the Sun Pharma will become 100% stake. They will hold 100% stake in Taro. And moving on, then that stock that I was talking about, which is down and about, is again ONGC among the top losers today, and that is because the state-owned oil and gas exploration company has posted a standalone loss of about 247.7 crore in quarter 4. This is being dented by the huge one-time loss that they've taken of 9,305 crore. Now, the weak top line as well as that lower than expected operating performance is what has also impacted the bottom line. Whereas you look at the standalone revenue from operations for the fourth quarter, that has come in at 36,293 crore. This too has fallen by about 5.9% compared to a year ago. So you can see that counter still taking on the chin, down about 5% in trade today, and is going to get a drubbing further, you could say. But all of this not really auguring too well for the stock. I perhaps will go back to Prashant and ask him. He did give us his picks, but let's look at some more technicals. Now, Prashant, you did give us your two stop picks, but if you look at these counters, what should our viewers be looking out for? We did pick out these stocks because they are in news and buzzing, but how would you look at, what would be your picks among the broader, these blue chip stocks, if I have to ask?
So, I think, Stacy, if we talk about ONGC, definitely there's a knee-jerk reaction to the results. And I think it has come to decent levels. If you see currently, it's quoting around 158 in spot. And any level between 155, 160 would be a good buy. Your stop loss has to be 150 on closing basis. And I think if it picks up from here, you can go to the previous high, somewhere around 170. So definitely a good level to add.
Well, so ONGC will be a counter that we'll be looking out for. There are quite a few others, like I mentioned, earnings that are going to be in focus. IRCTC, for that matter, is something that we're going to be looking out for. That counter, if you have to look at, over a 3-year period, has definitely given some really good returns, but has succumbed to recent pressures. At least if you have to look at that counter in the last 5 days, not looking too promising, but definitely has a reason to be going forward with the whole, summer vacation season. So a lot to be looking out for. Adani ports as well as transmissions, both of those counters will definitely also be in focus. Let's look at another PSU stock that is in focus, that is of BHEL. Now, BHEL's Q4 profits, those are the ones that tanked about 33% on a year-on-year basis, coming in at 611 crores. This on the back of weak operating numbers. We also saw a tepid top line growth. In fact, revenues just at about 2% at 8,227 crores. So that is something that we're going to be looking out for when it comes to these stocks and the rest of the day. But those opening cues there for you, the Nifty comfortably there in the green, even the Sensex too, trading higher, you could say, from those levels. Nifty right now at 18,617, the Sensex at 62,943, definitely could even surpass and get to that 63,000 levels. Bank Nifty too at comfortably above 44,000, one could say. Mid cap, small cap, both those broader indices also really ticking higher. So good start, one could say, for the week. We have a couple of macro data points that are going to be very crucial through this week. You do have the auto sales data that will be coming up by the end of the month. That's when we normally see that. We also have the Fed meeting. When you come to the international front, the June Fed meeting is going to be crucial. But we also have the GDP numbers now. Our Q1 GDP numbers is something that is going to be on everyone's mind, at least the economists. So that is something that we are going to be keeping you in track with. Well, that's all we have on this edition of Opening Bell, but more news and updates will continue right here. Keep watching Moneycontrol as well as us on the Moneycontrol app. Thanks for everyone for tuning in.